So I just got this pedal in on trade. It's the JHS Flight Delay. It's not a new pedal. It's been out for about a year or so. And as I was poking around JHS's website to kind of learn about this pedal, I read them describing it as the kind of one-stop shop for a delay pedal. All you need in a delay pedal and nothing more. And being a fan of delays and reverbs and ambient leaning effects, I thought I'd just kind of do a video off the cuff here on the Flight Delay and see if the notion of it being the only delay pedal you need really stands up. See if they got it right and see what they are missing. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we dive in, if you're someone who enjoys this type of video, just kind of exploring new sounds and tones from different pieces of gear in the guitar or music world, please hit subscribe below and stay up to date on the future videos on the channel here. It's a huge help. Please like the video and drop a comment down below if you've got one, and we'll engage down there. I also want to mention that I have affiliate links through reverb.com and a couple other brands in the industry, and I'll drop those below in the gear list. So if you're shopping for gear, it's a huge support to me and the channel if you use those links. So JHS has kind of positioned themselves as one of the stalwarts of the boutique pedal world. They've gone through what I would say are a few evolutions as a brand, and recently I think I've been leaning more into more accessible and approachable pedals. I don't know if they ever strayed too far from that approach, but recently they've kind of introduced that 3 series of pedals that's a very approachable and affordable line of effects, and their offerings just continue to be these kind of foundational staple type effects that are concise and to the point, with some really great tones and sounds. And so the Flight Delay really falls into that category. It's, as they dub it, kind of all you need and nothing more from a delay pedal. So we're going to talk about each of the modes here and hear some sounds from them as we go along, talk about the strengths of this pedal, and I'll share the one thing I think that they missed in this release. To start off, you've got a really clear presentation and control set in the Flight Delay. You've got mix, time, and repeats up here in the corner that are just your staple delay controls. You have an EQ control here, which is a really great addition to just allow you to darken or brighten your delay repeats on any of the modes. And then you have your modulation section on the right, which has a rate and depth control for that modulation and the ability to select either chorus or vibrato here. Again, a really great amount of options there to have the 2-knob control over your modulation and to be able to vary the type and texture between chorus and vibrato on each mode. You have tap tempo on this right foot switch and then a corresponding 3-way subdivision toggle here, as well as a tap or expression input on the top of the pedal. At the heart of the Flight Delay are 3 classic delay modes, including analog, reverse, and digital. And you could argue about the selection of those 3 modes, but I really think that that's a good cross-section of delays for a delay that you're dubbing a sort of everything you need style delay. I love the analog delay sound. I think it's classic. It shows up across a number of different recordings and albums over the past decades. It has that warm bucket brigade repeat that just kind of slowly degrades with each repeat there. It's one of the staples of my sounds, and so it's kind of always a litmus test to play different delay pedals that have the analog mode, and so we'll get into that in a second here. The reverse mode is an interesting choice, but I think one that is a cool addition to this pedal because it allows you to flex into some of the more ambient or experimental delay textures if you want and have that all in this kind of do-it-all delay pedal. And then the digital mode, again, is a fairly classic, a really crisp, precise, clean delay repeat, one that stays true to itself with each repeat and just kind of works pretty well for that rhythmic dotted eighth delay sound. In my opinion, the inspirations for each of these modes are pretty spot on, with the analog mode being inspired by the classic Memory Man Deluxe analog delay and perhaps some of the 3-knob Boss or Ibanez analog delays from the 80s. You also have reverse delay modes that harken back to the DL4, which in my opinion was one of the highlights of that pedal. And then for digital delays, his inspiration was the Boss DD5, which again kind of brings me back to about 15 years ago when I was just starting to learn guitar. Maybe some of you have also kind of had that nostalgic feeling hearing about the DD5, but just that quintessential Boss, crisp, percussive digital delay sound. So let's check out some sounds. We're going to go through each of the 3 modes and just show you the different textures and characteristics of the analog, reverse, and digital modes. We're going to hear how that modulation can come into play on the repeats and just add some nice character and nuance to those delay repeats. We're going to be playing a Squier Paranormal Troublemaker Telecaster Deluxe into a JHS Morning Glory version 3, because I think it's the best version, onto the Flight Delay, then onto a Strymon Cloudburst for a little bit of reverb before going to the Walrus Audio ACS1 Mark II for our amp. Let's check out some sounds. On the whole, I think it's a really great offering. I love the simplicity and straightforwardness of the control set, especially for those just getting into pedals or people that are tiptoeing into delay as an effect. You avoid a lot of the menu diving and complexity that some multi-mode delay pedals have, and you have a sort of what you see is what you get interface here with knobs and toggles. Again, the 3 modes can cover a ton of bases, from darker, warmer repeats of the analog delay into those crisp, percussive digital delay sounds, and then the reverse mode to have some fun with more ambient sounds. The one thing I wish they would have included in this, and I think a really simple tweak to the circuitry, is to include a runaway feedback oscillation function on this tap tempo switch. A number of primarily analog delays feature that, but I think it's a really fun inclusion that allows for some cool moments either on the fly in live sets or in the studio to just create these sort of transitional, chaotic moments of the swirling, oscillating delay repeats. I would have loved to have seen that on this right foot switch here. It would have kind of sealed the deal for me to have this on the board as my only delay pedal to lean on in each of those 3 modes, depending on the song or the situation, and have it be all I would need in a delay pedal. Regardless, I think it's a great offering. I think it's worth checking out if you're in the market for your first delay pedal, for a delay that covers a number of bases without being too complex or complicated, and one that is still relatively affordable, especially on the used market here and now. Thanks for watching, and please drop any questions or comments you've got about this pedal below.